some gas on.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. This is Boomer Barber. We're going to be doing another episode of Does It Bark today, episode 3 actually. The track we're going to be reviewing is 818 Compound made by Pelster. It's his first track, but he had a little bit of guidance from Hurin and Fat Muppet. So Hurin and Fat Muppet both well known within the community for making some solid tracks. I would say Fat Muppet's most popular tracks would be Walnut and Farm 14. Hurin's would probably be Racine and Baja. So these guys definitely know what they're doing, and Pelster picked the right guys to guide him. So let's see how it turned out. It looks pretty crazy, honestly. It looks pretty insane. So I'm excited to get into it. And as far as our pro rider goes, it's not going to actually be a pro rider this week, but it's going to be v0xmach1ne with Backyard MX. He is very well known throughout the community. He's successful in running Backyard MX. He also commentated the 450 class in Aerial ESX. So he's definitely qualified for the job. He knows what to look for in a track. So excited to see what kind of bark rating he gives it. And for those of you that don't know, at the end of the video, I will be displaying a bark rating from myself and also v0xmach1ne. Usually it's a random person, usually a random pro. So let's get into the video and see how 818 Compound does by Pelster. All right, guys, we are now loaded into 818 Compound by Pelster. This is an above view of the main track here. Almost as far as you can see, this compound is rideable. So I'm going to try to go over some key things real quick that weren't covered in the footage of Vox riding. But this little fun area here, he's got like a quarter pipe and then what I guess you could call like a manual box and a wall ride. So, and all of it looks really good. I mean, looks great. You can just see the amount of effort he put into this. And then all of this area, I mean, and even further than what you can see right now is all just free ride area, man. Just so much stuff, dude. Just crazy. Over here, from what I know to be the very first spine ever put in the game. And yeah, it actually works. All these ramps work really well. But yeah, you can hit that. There's a house jump over here. There's just so much stuff, man. Some more free ride area. So all the lines you can see, there's more lines. He's got hidden lines that don't have that aren't like rutted up or textured or whatever. So really cool, really good job by Pelster. I would love to pick through all of this and show you guys everything, but man, it would just take too long. So I'm excited for you guys to get this track, man. There's going to be a lot of cool videos made here, I'm sure. In that clip of me, I jumped this. It wasn't even really meant to be a thing, but I just got lucky and found it. I jumped this, transferred to the top of this rock, and then jumped off of the rock down here. So all the rocks and objects for the most part on this track or map, whatever you want to call it, are all rideable. So you can actually ride on all of it. You won't clip through it. So like I said, there's probably going to be a lot of opportunity for some cool videos to be made. I'm sure C-Bigs and Pepe and all them guys will probably have some really cool stuff coming out. So stay tuned for that. But let's go ahead and get into Vox ripping around this thing, and we can check out this main track here, see how well it barks. All right, guys, there's actually one more thing that I want to show you guys. I don't want to miss this, and I accidentally did. So Pelster actually added, I think with the help of Fat Muppet, these speakers to the track that actually play music while you're riding. So it's pretty cool. As you're riding, there's like a cone shape of the audio, so it comes in and out as you're riding, kind of for that realistic feeling. But really awesome, man. You can see the closer you get to it, the louder it gets. Some Yamaha speakers, man. So super awesome. Just another creative touch. It's actually pretty cool when you're riding, man, because you can kind of jam out. So definitely gives that kind of MX or ATV vibe when you're riding. And he's got his own playlist that just filters through this whole thing. It's not the same song over and over again. So I wanted to touch on that. I definitely didn't want to miss it. So definitely a cool feature. We are now loaded into the track with Vox Machine. Once again, this is 818 compound made by Pelster. Today he is going to be riding a KTM 350. So a little bit more power than the 250 for sure. A little bit less maybe than the 450. First off, I'll say this track is really fun on a 450. I made most of my laps around it when I was testing it out on a Suzuki 450. Everything on the track can be done on a 250, but some of the jumps are definitely a stretch on it. But anyways, we'll get into this lap and let him finish out this lap here and talk about the track a little bit. And then I'm going to do things a little bit differently this time. I think I'm going to go ahead and give my ratings throughout the footage here with Vox. So just to try to shorten this video down a little bit, my videos, I don't mind the length of them, but they are a little long, so I want to try to shorten them down some. So anyways, this section here, you can see the roughness. It's not a crazy amount of roughness on this track, but a decent amount. The line choices there was 3 different lines, and these ruts are really well formed for being pre-made. I've went over a few of them. Some of them are really harsh, but others aren't too bad. This section he's going through here right now is really fun. Like, the flow through that is fun. It's like messy looking, like it looks like it's going to be a pain to get through, but it flows so good. So you know that Pelster took his time testing that area out, making sure that it was right. So triple in here, double through this, and then you can launch this single here. Pretty cool line. He's going to come through these kind of like braking bumps here. And then this turn here, man, I didn't like it at first with the tires because they're collidable, but I didn't like it because I tried to go through it too fast. So it definitely will punish you. You've got to let off a little bit to get through it. But the multiple line choices once again through that turn were like 4 or 5. I can't even remember over there on the left side of the track. So he's going to come through this huge finish line jump, send it over. You can see all the gates underneath him as he went over it. So a lot of gates, a wide start. Really cool track, man. A lot of thought has gone into it. So first off, we're going to start with raceability. We'll talk about that. Is it race worthy? Man, with the optional lines and all that, on one hand, it could be a very good racetrack, but on the other hand, it's kind of got more of that fun vibe to it. But once again, like that jump right there, kind of an off-cambered big double. If you don't hit it right, you'll definitely end up off the track. This hill here is a little tough to get up, so there's different lines, but I don't see it being ran in a series necessarily as it is right now. I guess it possibly could be. I talked with Pelster a little bit, and he was talking about excuse me, had a burp. He was talking about adding some braking bumps, roughness, more roughness to the track. He sent this to us saying it's about 90% done. The track for the most part was finished, other than he was thinking about adding some roughness to it. So if he does that, it could definitely change it up a little bit as far as the race worthy, but right now it's just like a fast, fun, super flowy track. So for race worthy, I'm gonna give it 3.5 stars. A part of me feels like it deserves more than that, but if I'm being honest, it could be a good racetrack, but I don't know how well it would qualify for a series. So Vox's bike's ghost riding. I can't believe this is the footage this Boomer sent me. So he waves at the camera here. So yeah, so raceworthy 3.5 stars is what I'm going to give it. And then we'll get into creativity. So the creativity, this track is not lacking at all. Zero lacking on creativity between what I've already talked about with line choices, banners, those billboards up there that cycle through different, I guess you could call like people involved with helping with the track or people he's wanting to shout out. Those jumps there, jumping over the start gate, just super creative. These pre-mades, once again, just really well made, given all these optional lines. So man, this thing, he definitely was creative with this. And then that's just me talking about the actual track. Now, if you want to get into the free ride section, oh man, like that's untouchable at this point, in my opinion, from what I've experienced in the game. It's hands down the most creative track or compound that has been made, in my opinion, that I've rode. I mean, there's other great ones, right? But this one with the, I mean, I'm telling you, once you guys get in here and see all of these lines, oh my gosh, like it's nuts. So creativity, man, it's going to be our first 5-star rating. So it's going to get 5 bark stars. So congratulations to Pelster on earning the very first 5 stars of Does It Bark. So creativity, 5 stars. Next, we're going to get into fun. So not often do I ride a track and I really just want to come back and play it some more after riding it for an hour or two. Like, that doesn't necessarily happen. But today, like, I did some of this last night, worked on this video some last night, and then I came back in today and gonna start on it here before PDMX. And dude, all day long I was just thinking about, man, I just want to go ride that track. Like, I just want to go ride the track. I mean, the free ride's really cool. I think that would be fun just to kind of like kill some time and have fun on and see some of the stuff. But I really enjoy tracks in the game, and this track is fun, man, because it has that like farm walnutty type feel, but it has some technicalities to it which make it really, like, it feels rewarding whenever you get those hot laps. And then once you start putting hot laps down, and once you get this thing figured out, oh, it's a blast, dude. It is so fun. So for fun, the fun factor, I'm gonna give it 5 stars, man. It's gonna, so Pelster, you just got 2 different categories with the 5 stars. So for fun, 5 stars. I'm gonna give a bark rating of 5 stars for it, man. It is super fun. I haven't had like a lot of fun on the track in a long time like this. Lockdown Pro was probably the closest to this for fun here recently for me. But even this track is just more flowy than even Lockdown Pro. And I mean, a lot of people don't like that track, but I personally love it. But this one I think is taking the cake, man. It's just so flowy and really fun to just put laps on. Because it seems like a big track, but you're running high 150s. At least I am. Actual pro on this track will probably be putting down low 150s, maybe even dipping down into the 140s. So it's not like a crazy long track. You're talking similar times to like Redbud or something like that. But it's a blast. Our last category that we're going to get into is going to be aesthetics. So aesthetics, this thing isn't just blowing me away with aesthetics. Like, for example, you know, what I would consider maybe like a 5-star rating for aesthetics would be some of JV's tracks, like some of the Russia and those, the just blows you away when you get into it. You don't even feel like you're on MX bikes. So, but this one is pretty good. I mean, I've tried to take into the account, like you almost can combine aesthetics with creativity in some forms, but this one's not too wild. It's got trees and rocks and different like trailers. It's got the house jump, just different things that are pretty cool. Like I said, nothing out of this world, nothing brand new to the game. Those billboards that are moving are really cool. But for aesthetics, I think I'm going to give it 4 stars. It's still a great rating, a super good rating. And the reason I'm giving it that is just because of all the rocks and the amount of time he took to put all the trees and stuff into it. So, yeah, man, aesthetics, I'm going to give it 4 stars. So anyways, that's going to be my end of the review. Super good job to Pelster, but let's go over to Vox's rating and see what that boomer gave him.
Hey everybody, it's Vox here. Just want to give a big thanks to Barber for bringing me in for this week's episode, or this episode of Does It Bark. I appreciate the opportunity. Also, big shout out to Pelster and anybody that he had helping him work on this track, because it is a very good track. Definitely worth a download. As the guest on this week's episode of Does It Bark, I do have my own ratings for the track. So following what Barber's laid out for the categories, one being is the track race-worthy, scoring it on creativity for second, scoring it on fun and aesthetics for those 4 categories. So I guess I'll just dive right into it. So number 1, in terms of the track being race-worthy. So I kind of thought about this from a general racing perspective and a series perspective. I don't really have a good mindset for where to score this track in terms of putting it in a series. But for general racing, I would easily say I give it 4.5 stars. The track is wide and it has required line choices is what I would call it. Lines that, you know, if you get into, you kind of have to stay in them. You can't leave them, or else you'll tuck the front. So it's wide and it has required line choices, which pretty much it tells me that it was designed to provide space for battles. There are also some skill checks on the track. Anybody who plays the track and comes across the S turns for the first time before the finish line, or there's a tabletop that when you hit it, you have to hit it just right and land it just right, kind of like back in Walnut, where there's a triple into a right-hand sweeper, and if you OJ that triple, you're just done for. So a couple of things like that. So there's some technicality to it. Definitely would love to see this be played in public lobbies, but I'm not sure how series racing would go. To me, I don't think Pelster designed the track with things like PDMX or Backyard in mind. He designed it to have fun with his friends, and you can for sure have fun. So race-worthy, 4.5 stars for public lobby racing. For series racing, I'm not so sure. Number 2, creativity. I actually gave this 4 out of 5 stars. This score is based on perspective, meaning I'm not very creative, so something like this does tend to blow me away. An example of what I think is so creative about the track, because the map is very large and it has a ton of freestyle hills. It has a freestyle section, but then about a quarter of the map is this motocross track, this national track. And the length of the track in terms of lap time is under 2 minutes for a fast lap. So I think that puts the course length on par with something like Unadilla. But if you're comparing 818 Compound to Unadilla, 818 Compound seems like larger than life, I guess, is a good way to put it. It's not always, you know, until you learn the track, sometimes you'll forget where you are because it's so immersive and it feels so big. Whereas when you're racing on a track like Unadilla, you can see everything and you can see everyone. The track is entirely visible, so it feels a little bit smaller than it is. So I think the track design and the layout were very good in taking a track that isn't too crazy long, but making it feel like you've gone on a journey every lap, because it's, you know, he's put time into the scenery. Also, the main attraction of the compound being free riding. So the hills, the FMX ramps, and the creative things that you can do in that regard are endless. So creativity, scoring 4 out of 5. For the fun factor, honestly, I just gave this a 5 out of 5 score because there's nothing else to do here except to have fun. The track is blasting nostalgic rock music in your ears as you ride through it, and it's doing that for a reason. So 5 out of 5 for fun. It's definitely a track that I think people can spend a lot of time on, especially in public lobbies. You get 30 people on this thing, and it's like a mini version of the Morin Factory. You know, everybody can do whatever they want to do and still have fun. Finally, for aesthetics, I'd have to score this. I'm scoring it a 3 out of 5. And there's a lot to look at with this entire compound, but most of it is the same. For example, I can get lost riding in the free ride hills because it tends to all look so similar whenever I'm trying to get across the map to like the FMX sections. But he did use a unique texture for the national track dirt, though, and I like that a lot. It kind of gives it's fresh on the eyes. It's not the same thing we see out of every other track. Mainly, I scored this as a 3.5 because I want to respect the fact that the design for the map is immersive. It just could have used some more diversity in the hills, maybe. But it's important to note that I think this is just reflective of the scale of the map. Like, it's really big, so it's a lot to add trees everywhere and do all that kind of stuff. So I don't think the lack of diversity in the map, like in the free hills area, is a reflection of Pelster's creativity. I think it's more just lack of time because it takes so much to do all of this already. So, but it is very pretty. 3.5 is a good score. If I scored a track that had less things on the course, I'd probably give it lower than that. So anyways, that's really it. Very fun track. Definitely give it a download. And once again, thank you, Barber, for giving me this opportunity.
All right, so let's get into the overall score. So it looks like 818 Compound is going to score a 35 out of 40 Bark stars. So amazing job, Pelster. I feel like you really outdid yourself, especially with it being your first track. So shout out to you, and also shout out to the guys that helped you, her and Fat Muppet and everyone else. You did a great job on the track, man. Also, thank you to Vox for volunteering to help me out with this video. I think he did a great job. I think he was very fair with his scoring. I felt like we had a very similar thoughts on it and scoring. So anyways, guys, once again, this is 818 Compound by Pelster. Be sure to look out for it on MXB-Mods. I'll have a link to his MXB-Mods profile. It is currently November 12th, and he's saying he's going to release it this weekend, so I'm not for sure if that'll be Saturday or Sunday, but be on the lookout for it. Once again, there will be a link down there, and I will also have a link to the Backyard MX YouTube. So if you guys want to go check out Vox's channel, feel free to show him some love. Show both these guys some love. If you like the track, make sure to give it a good rating on MXB-Mods. I'm sure it'll make Pelster really happy. So sorry for how long the video was, guys, but I felt this track deserved all that I could throw at it at the time. And I didn't even cover it all, not even close. So I hope you guys stuck around this long. Once again, I hate this cliche saying, but if you would like, comment, and subscribe, it definitely motivates me to keep doing it. So also the comments are cool, man. I like the discussions. I'll go on and chat in the comment section sometimes. So all right, guys, so that's gonna do it for episode 3 of Does It Bark at 818 Compound. We will see you guys next time.
Don't record that part.
All right, we're live, baby.